Thank you, Barbara. People might have questions afterwards. I'd like to leave that to the end after our honoree has been honored and said a few words. So what we want to do now is the main event. Nothing personal, Barbara, but you were the warm-up act, and an excellent warm-up act. But the honorees today, there's two honorees. One of them is here representing his colleague. Are Kevin Rothstein, who's here with us, and Mike Beaudet, who I am assured is not involved with Motel 6, if you remember those ads. They are an investigative team. Kevin is the investigative news producer, Mike the investigative reporter, currently at WCVB-TV. It's the local ABC station in Boston. Before that, they were at the Fox affiliate in Boston. And they've broken, over the years, a whole series of major investigative immigration stories, both on state policy and federal policy. Kevin who's here with us, started his career in print at one of the a daily outside of Boston, which Kevin tells me is still in business, but it's one of those suburban dailies that are dropping like flies. Moved over to the Boston Herald, which is the Boston Globe's competitor, or maybe the Globe is the Herald's competitor, however you want to look at that in Boston. Then moved to TV and has been in TV for many years and focuses on the team, really, the focus on exposing fraud and waste and abuse in various areas, not just immigration, but others, and also teaches journalism at Brandeis University. Mike Beaudet is not here because he's in Athens leading a group of journalism students covering the immigration crisis, the illegal arrivals of asylum seekers in Greece. He started his career in radio, again in Massachusetts, covering the State House for many years, and at WCVB now also covers stories about government waste and corruption. What takes him to Greece is his role as teaching journalism at Northwestern University. And the team has covered a variety of stories and a variety of topics, not just immigration, but they made a real contribution on immigration issues, which is why we wanted to recognize them. Kevin and Mike, for instance, investigated a state policy, Massachusetts state policy, that enabled unlicensed illegal immigrants to nonetheless legally register automobiles, allowing them basically to, operate under the radar. And exposure of that loophole prompted the state legislators to actually pass a law saying that only licensed drivers can register vehicles, which is hard to believe in Massachusetts. I would have thought they would have just, they would be rivaling California and giving away stuff, but maybe not. They also found out that the then governor of Massachusetts, the predecessor of the current governor, his name was Deval Patrick, was actually blocking implementation of what's called the Secure Communities program, which is where now all police departments are hooked up to the system that when someone is booked and their fingerprints are scanned, as we all know from television, they go to the FBI. Well, this system also made sure they go to DHS. And so Governor Patrick was sort of obstructing implementation of that, and their coverage of it, their exposure of that, sparked a statewide debate that went on for quite a while. Kevin and Mike also did some groundbreaking reporting on a Cambodian gang member who had been convicted of murder, but because Cambodia wouldn't take its own citizens back, and the State Department, at least until recently, basically said, okay, the authorities were compelled to release the guy back onto the streets after a certain amount of time because of Supreme Court decisions. And so exposing that story, which they did, became national news and helped prompt congressional hearings and legislation even, although this is still an issue that hasn't, as far as I can tell, fully been resolved. And then more recently, they broke a story on illegal alien drug dealers from the Dominican Republic pretending to be Puerto Ricans using stolen or borrowed or whatever identities of Puerto Ricans, meaning U.S. citizens, enabling them to get licenses and access welfare benefits and all the rest of it, again, in New England with a local focus. So these are some of the stories that, honestly, I'm not sure why national investigative reporters aren't doing more of this sort of work. But as you'll see from our list of past winners, a few years ago, we had honored another local TV investigative reporter, that time in Indianapolis, who had done work on on illegal immigrants getting IRS benefits, the additional child tax credit, for instance. This is a story that there's no reason that ABC or CBS or NBC or CNN or somebody, I can assume MSNBC wouldn't have done it, should have uncovered. And yet, then, as is the case, as we see here with Kevin and Mike's work, often it takes local reporters, whether TV or sometimes even in print, who are able to find and expose and shine light on these kind of things. So, for that reason, we're honoring Kevin Rothstein and Mike Beaudet with this year's Eugene Katz Award for excellence in the coverage of immigration. Kevin, if you could come up, we have a little tchotchke for you, too. So we have a little tchotchke that goes along with it. It's a nice crystal clock for you, and we have one for Mike as well. So
thank you.
Kevin will say a few words, as few or as many as he would like, Kevin, and then we'll take some questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.